Okay, so today we are going into a new topic, which is extreme situations. Okay, look at this picture here. Person is doing bungee jumping, a man rope jumping, a new extreme sport, which combines the thrill of rock climbing, bungee jumping, and skydiving into one. We have learned about adventure sports, but this one is more extreme. So, extreme sports. Okay. Today we are going to do a reading. Okay. This is quite a long text, so please bear with me. Okay, this is from a true story that happened last time. Read the breaking news about a real life story. Who are the people in the story and where were they? Where were they going? What do you think happened next? So when you read a story, you try to identify who are the people and where were they at that time when the incident happened, and where were they going. That means in the story you will read about a journey and what do you think happened next. Right, this is the news. Thursday, October 12, 1972. Flight 571 carrying Uruguay's championship rugby team took off from Montevideo, Uruguay, heading to Santiago, Chile. On the plane were 45 people, the crew, so they were only 45, the Uruguayan players and their friends and relatives. Soon after takeoff, the plane had to stop in Mendoza, Argentina because of bad weather. Okay, so usually bila ada cuaca buruk, the plane has to stop and land somewhere else. It is an emergency. Okay, Friday, October, flight 571 took off again. Took off means berlepas, take off. We have learned this last year. Take off, took off again, heading for Santiago. About an hour into the flight, the pilots began the descent into Santiago. About an hour, dalam masa sejam, dia berlepas. The pilots, okay, so there are usually they have two pilots, began to descend. Descend means dia nak turun, okay, into Santiago, not realizing, without realizing, dia tak sedar, the plane was still close to the high peaks of the Andes Mountains. Okay, kapal terbang tu still close, dia dekat dengan high peaks, dekat gunung, okay, dekat gunung of the Andes Mountains. Okay, you're going to read an article about what happened to the passengers on flight 571. Quickly scan the article to check your predictions about what happened next. Okay. A plane that had been flying from Uruguay to Chile with 45 people on board crashed. Crash means dia berlanggar into a mountain in the Andes gunung. How some of the passengers managed to live? Okay, some. That means ada yang mati. So beberapa managed to live is one of the great survival stories. Survival, when you have something, a challenge, then you survive. So it's a survival stories. 29 people died in the crash. And in the weeks following it, on the mountain, it was freezing cold and the survivors stayed inside the crashed plane to stay warm. Okay, you look at the picture here. It's a snowy mountain, ada snow, so sangat-sangat sejuk. So to keep cold, they stay inside the plane. They had very little food and were in very great danger while they waited for a rescue team. Makanan tak banyak and they don't know, they didn't even know if rescue team will come to save them or not. So after 11 days on the mountain, they found a small radio on the plane and they heard the news that the rescue teams had stopped searching for them. Okay, dah 11 hari, so diorang dah tak nak cari sebab dia rasa kapal terbang tu dah hilang. All hope was gone. They were alone and terrified. Terrified means very, very scared. Okay. I'm sorry. I think some of you couldn't join this. Wait, let me check again. Cannot join. Alright, continue. Okay. So they had stopped. Right. They were alone and terrified. Days become weeks. So daripada hari jadi minggu, 2 months after the crash, after they had waited for summer to arrive. 2 months is a very long time, 2 bulan. Okay, they waited for summer to arrive, musim panas. 3 of the passengers, Roberto Canessa, Nando Parrado and Antonio Vizintin, left. Okay, dia tinggalkan tempat tu to search for help. Each man wore is a past tense for wear, 3 pairs of socks with a plastic bag around each foot to keep the water out, boots, 4 pairs of trousers and 4 jumpers. Remember that place is super cold, so they have to put on layers and layer here. Many of the clothes were from the people who had died in the crash. Kan tadi ada yang mati Maybe they died because of the accident or they died because of hunger and the temperature. They also took with them a large sleeping bag that they had made. Only they could save the others now. How did these brave young men cope with the journey? Cope means dia membiasakan diri dengan dengan perjalanan tu. Okay, they handle how the men handle the journey, something like that. None of them had climbed mountains before and it was hard. They climbed very dangerous, icy peaks. Okay, puncak gunung yang berais. Okay, dia bukan snow. Snow is very soft, but when we say icy means the ice yang tajam tu. Okay, the ice yang tajam, yang licin, very cold. Okay, they are not snow. Trying to reach the top of the mountain. Some days later, exhausted, very, very tired and cold, they reach it. Okay, they sampai, tiba. They had imagined this moment for days. On the other side of the mountain, they wanted to see a valley. Valley means a lembah, kawasan. Usually when you on a mountain, tengok bawah ada valley, kawasan berbukit buka, ada lembah, okay, there's a valley below that would take them out of the mountains. But instead of a valley, they saw more of the same snowy peaks, lots of them. Okay, bila kamu terkandas kat kawasan macam Gunung Everest tu, memang macam itulah, there are lots of snow and you will see no one's there. Okay, like even the people who went for Mount Everest, I heard that when you go up the Mount Everest, you will see a lot of disease, mayat dekat sepanjang perjalanan because the place is very cold. Nobody is going to bring down them. Okay, so that's why very difficult to see people up there. They were near the end of the mountains. They were in the middle of them. What could they do now? Okay. So the situation seems so bleak. But there was still hope. Parrado saw 2 low peaks about 65 kilometers away that didn't have snow on them. If they could get there, they would be out of the high Andes. But to reach that peaks, they would need to walk for more days and they didn't have enough food. But Parrado had a solution. I couldn't see here. Vizintin could return to the plane and he and Canessa, you look at your textbook because the scanned textbook that I have here is not very clear here. Okay, Vizintin could return to the plane. Okay, so seorang patah balik kat kapal terbang yang terkandas tadi and he and Canessa would take his food. Alright, so lagi 2 orang tu ambil makanan dia. They agreed on the plan and Canessa and Parrado continued their journey. As they walked, the area around them slowly began to change. Okay, so dia dah jumpa kawasan yang tak ada ice, yang tak ada snow. The man discovered a small river. The sun was warmer. After a few days of walking, the snow had disappeared completely and flowers were everywhere. This is a valley, Kanisa said excitedly. This is a way out. Okay, so akhirnya dia tiba tempat yang selamat. Soon they saw a few cans on the ground. Ada tin dekat tanah and some farm animals. Farm animals, for example, what? Cows, ducks, kettles, okay? Oh my God. In a field, they knew there must be people somewhere nearby. On December 21st, after 10 days, the exhausted men reached the town of Los Maintenance in Chile, and the rescue team went to save the other passengers high up in the Andes. What had happened to them? Fortunately, they had all survived as they waited for the others to get help. The memories of the crash in the Andes would be with them forever, but their ordeal was over. Ordeal means very, very difficult experience, okay? Pengalaman yang menyakitkan lah, painful and difficult experience. They had made it out alive. Alright, this is a story. If you Google this, because I told you before that this is a true story. If you Google this, there are so many dark stories in it actually. I read that some of them become cannibal, like they eat the other passengers who had died just to survive. Okay, so dia makan lah orang yang dah mati tu, they eat them. Alright, how many do we have here? Only 35. What about the others? Alright, any question about the text first? The textbook sure did lie, yeah. Of course lah, the textbook tunjuk nice thing je. But imagine, in a real situation, if you are stuck there, 2 months, come on, 2 months. Do you think the food in the plane would be enough?
They resort to cannibalism.
Yeah, they would resort to cannibalism. Definitely. Dia makan lah, siapa yang dah mati tu dia makan lah. They eat the other passengers. Okay?
I'm honestly just shocked I found out.
There's a movie on that, you know.
Really?
There's also a book, Alive.
There's a
book
movie
about
based on that.
Oh.
I didn't even know
that.
until Claudia told me about it.
There's a book and also there's a movie about that.
And the
I didn't know the movie, but there's a
seriously
book.
depicted the part about cannibalism.
Yes, because textbook would mention about that. But if you read the news and all, of course they will resort to cannibalism. The others, you know what is cannibalism? Means yang makan daging manusia. Dia makan daging manusia. Takkan 2 months kan? They stuck there at that area, very cold, with nothing. Of course they will eat whatever they have there. Okay?
Including humans?
Including humans, especially human. Yeah. Why they can get other things? There's nothing up there. No dogs, no animals, I think. Maybe very difficult to get animals. Okay?
I would eat the snow.
Snow is nothing. It's like ice kacang, like ABC.
Exactly, if you're an ice lover, I think eating ice would be fine.
Alright. Okay, so let's look at the questions here. The exam task. Okay, try to answer the exam task. Try your understanding, okay? The answers are all in the text. Alright. Before that, so look here, just now, question A. Who are the people in the story? So they are these people, the rugby team, okay, the crew of means the pilots and also the flight attendants, okay, the rugby player and their friends and relatives here, mentioned here. Where were they? Okay, so here they are in Uruguay, Montevideo, Uruguay, and they were going to Santiago. Okay, the flight is from Uruguay to Santiago here. Okay, what do you think happened next after they all survive? Of course, they are very traumatic, right? What if If you were one of the people there, what would you feel? I would be impressed if I am alive in that situation. But then you choose whether you want to eat people or not. You want to be cannibal or not. If you want to survive, you have to be cannibal. Okay, it's okay, Bala, you can try later. In a few minutes, okay? Alright, look at the exam task. Choose the correct letter A, B, C or D. What is the writer doing in this text? Giving advice on how to survive, easy. Bagi nasihat. Explaining incredible past events, okay, explaining, dia menjelaskan cerita past events yang dah berlalu. Showing that air travel is dangerous, okay, naik flight bahaya. Writing an imaginative story, definitely not D. This is not imaginative. Okay, this is from a true story. So which one is the answers? A, B or C?
B.
I think it's B.
B.
Okay, it's B, yeah. Explaining incredible past events. Alright, next one. Why were the three men disappointed? Kenapa dia kecewa? Okay. Why were the three men disappointed? The view from the mountain was not very good. Amboi, nak complain pemandangan. View is pemandangan. Okay, they didn't know how to return to the plane. Dia tak tahu macam nak patah balik. They realised that they had more problems. Dia sedar dia ada banyak lagi masalah. And they had not brought enough warm clothes. Okay, why are they disappointed? It is in page 84 here. Waktu perjalanan pertama. Alright.
Apa agama say no?
C.
It is here.
Yeah, I think it's C.
They had imagined. Alamak. I hate this. Okay, look at your textbook on paragraph 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. They had imagined. While I'm wait ah. Okay, they had imagined this moment for days on the other side of the mountain. They wanted to see a valley. So dia dah panjat gunung. So they expected dia akan nampak lembah kawasan panas. Below that would take them out of the mountains untuk keluar daripada kawasan tu. But instead of a valley, I'm reading page 84. They saw more of the same snowy peaks, lots of them. They were near the end of the mountains. They were in the middle of them. What could they do now? Right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this one. This is the one that I'm reading just now. So what's the answer? Definitely not A. Definitely not A. B, C or D?
I support C.
Alright. They know how to return to the plane because out of three, one of them went back to return to the plane, right? So the answer is yes, C. They realized they had more problems. The more problems here means that dah lah dia tak jumpa jalan keluar and then they are out of food. So out of three of them, tadi 3 orang, so one of them had to return to the plane. Okay, bila ada 2 orang, bila seorang dah balik, tinggal 2 orang, so they could take his food, makanan dia, so they could survive another days. Alright. Number 3, Byzantine returned to the crash site because, okay, dia patah balik sebab apa? He had lost hope, dah putus harapan. He didn't agree with Paradis' solution. He didn't want to walk any further. There wasn't enough food for 3 people. Cuba baru explain yang ni tadi. So the answer is
D.
D.
yes, D. There wasn't enough food for 3 people. So dia bagi makanan dekat kawan dia lagi 2 orang. So lagi 2 orang boleh teruskan perjalanan to find the valley. Alright, Peredo and Kanisa knew they were close to safety because, okay, dia tahu dia dah sampai dekat tempat yang ada orang. Because they saw things that belong to people, they discovered a river, they had been walking for 10 days, there were flowers in the snow. Which one of these that shows they were close to safety? Maksudnya dia nak
They
sampai.
discovered a river.
Apa, they saw things that belong to people.
Oh yeah.
Yes, not only because of a
Yeah.
river. Okay, we can have river anywhere, but they discovered something that belong to people. The cans, ada tin dekat tanah. That means tempat tu ada orang. Okay. Number 5, which best describes what happened to the people on flight 571? The survivors of the crash waited for many weeks in the plane for someone to find and rescue them. Adakah dia hanya menunggu? Tragically, 29 people died when the plane they were traveling in crashed into a mountain in the Andes. It doesn't matter, it doesn't mention, right? But remember,
See,
in a terrible situation and with no hope at all, the survivors found a way to save themselves, okay? To stay warm in the freezing cold, they wore the clothes of the people who had died in the crash. So yes, the answer is C. Okay? So when no one came to save them, okay, they went out of their way to survive. Alright. Find the meaning of the words below. Okay, go to D now. Find the meaning of the words below in the text, then complete the sentences. Cope with means how you handle that. Okay. Search, survive, save, crash, and reach. Tiba. You will, the car, if you don't know how to drive it properly, you will cope with, search, survive, save, crash, reach. Answers number 1.
Crash.
Okay, you will crash. Number 2, it is possible to in the jungle if you know how to find food. Okay, kamu boleh apa dekat hutan if you know how to find food. Kalau tahu survive makanan. Yes, it is possible to survive. There were many problems and Harry did them very well. There were many cope with, yes. Dia tak pandai nak handle masalah dia. Okay. They were in the middle of the desert, so nobody could. Middle of the desert.
Cope with,
We have used cope with here, number 3.
survive.
Number 4,
Save.
no, survive is number 2.
Safe.
To save them, yes. Okay, desert is padang pasir desert pun sama lah macam ni. Okay. When you are somewhere where there's no one like that. After the river
Reach.
will rest before we cross the other side. Yes, reach the river. Tiba. Okay, bila sampai dekat river. Rescue teams will continue
Stretch it and
to last one. Search the missing mountain climbers. Okay. Next page. We continue with vocabulary here. Destination is destinasi, tempat, tujuan. Strength means kekuatan. Conditions, keadaan. Companion. Companion means teman. Okay, teman When you say you got company, bukan company syarikat tu. Itu pun ya jugalah. I mean the other meaning for company means teman atau kawan expedition. Okay, ekspedisi. Trip limit, had. Okay, the limit. Explorer, pengembara. Okay, orang yang explore. And journey is perjalanan. So, I give you 1 minute. Match here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Find the answers. Okay, number one is a person or friend you travel or live with.
Companion.
Companion, yes. Someone who goes to places not many people have ever been to. Tempat yang ramai.
Explorer.
Explorer, pengembara ni. Explorer usually they go to somewhere new yang tak ada orang pergi tengok. Dan tak pernah ada orang sampai tempat tu lagi. That's why they are called explorer, not a visitor or tourist. Okay. A trip to find or say something that is a long way away. Jauh tempat tu.
Expedition.
Expedition, physical power or energy. Okay, power, strength.
Strength.
A trip. Traveling from one place to another.
Destination. Or journey.
No. A trip. If you go to one place to another, it's a journey. The final place is a destination. Where is your destination? That means where are you going? So the final
My
place
bed.
you want to get to when you go on a journey or trip is a destination. The maximum point or level of something or someone, maximum point means the
Limit.
limit and the way things are around you, your circumstances,
Conditions.
conditions. Okay, so okay, this one. Some people truly extraordinary at Stafford. Some people call Ed Stafford an amazing, but others think he is crazy. Okay. Ed Stafford is an amazing explorer. He is pengembara. Well, Ed Stafford has recently completed an incredible expedition. He has become the first man to walk the length of the Amazon River. He reached his destination, a beach on the Atlantic coast, after walking for 860 days in dangerous and extreme conditions. His journey required both mental and physical strength as he had to deal with heat, hunger, thirst, and some very unfriendly people who wanted to kill him. The walk tested Stafford to his limit every step of the way. Stafford's success was partly due to his traveling, a companion who he relied on to help him when things got very bad. It seems that the final part of the journey was the most difficult, and Ed collapsed at the side of the road. Luckily, however, Cho was there with him to help. Alright, I just read the text here. Okay, later on, okay, we are going to do listening after this. But before that, in your book, okay, please do exam task here. You don't have to do ABC. Question and correct answer straight away. And then here, D. Okay, D. A. Vocabulary, do A 1 until 8. And C and D. C and D is your homework. So kena buat nanti. Alright. Nanti we will discuss the answers later on. Alright, next one. Today is Tuesday Teacher akan buat kelas until 10 and then ada lagi satu masa BI tu you do your homework tutorial part. Like last week lah. Okay. Listening. We will do listening. Last one Last one for today Short listening only. Read the sentences below about a race. Yes, I will share the video in the group. Stafford, you are popular. Why? Okay. 2 of the options given, fill the gap correctly. For each question, cross out the option that does not fit the gap. Okay. So maksudnya, out of these 3, daripada 3 ni, satu yang tak sesuai dekat isi tempat kosong ni. For example here, in this race, the what must be extremely fit and strong. The competitors, boleh pesaing boleh. The competitors must be extremely fit and strong, okay. The limits height or the athletes. So which one that is not suitable here?
Limits.
the limits, okay? So competitors is the correct answer, athletes is the correct answer. The event is one of the most challenging, correct. The event is one of the toughest. Yes, yang paling susah. Tough is susah, So incredible is wrong. One of the, if you want to put incredible here, mesti ada most macam ni juga. Most incredible in the world. Okay. Competitors must deal with or carry on or cope with some very difficult conditions. Keadaan yang susah. They have to deal with, yes. Okay, betul. Cope with, sama maksud dia. So carry on is wrong. Most deserts are extremely places. Desert, padang pasir, hot, yes. Dry, yes. Windiest, no. Okay, so it should be windy. Only a small number of people can enter this event and competition. Okay, dia boleh enter. Enter maksudnya dia masuk pertandingan tu. Success is not suitable here. Alright, you will hear some information about a race in extreme parts of the world. For each question, fill in the missing information in the numbered space. Okay, now take 1 minute for you to read this part. Okay, read this part first. Baca dulu before we listen. Let me set up my audio first. You all read the question. Okay, ready? Are you ready to start the listening? Class, am I talking to myself?
Yep.
You find the answers here. Make sure, ini tak payah buat ni, you buat tulis jawapan kat kertas dulu lah. Tak payah buat dalam buku lagi. Okay, make sure you get the correct spelling. Alright, I'll start now.
Okay.
7.2.
Listening, Unit 7, page 88, D. You will hear some information about a race in extreme parts of the world. For each question, fill in the missing information in the numbered space. Hello, this is Lizzie Banks reporting for Sports Life. Today I'm standing in the Atacama Desert in Chile, South America. That's Atacama. It's not the sort of place most people want to come to, but one of the most challenging races in the world starts right here. It's called the Four Deserts Race. Competitors in this incredible race have to run through 4 deserts in 4 different continents. That's quite a challenge, isn't it? Let's take a look at some of the difficulties the runners could have. Now, each part of the race is 250 kilometers long and takes 7 days. Runners have tents and medical care, but they have to carry all their own clothes and food. Here in the Atacama Desert, the landscape is quite similar to the planet Mars, and the temperature is around 32 degrees Celsius. It's the driest place on Earth, so obviously it's not an easy place to run. Now, in the next part of the race, which is in June, competitors go to the Gobi Desert in China. Remember I said that runners have to carry their own clothes? This becomes difficult in this desert because it can be boiling hot during the day, but below freezing at night. And there can be very strong winds and sometimes snow in the mountains. You need lots of different kinds of clothes in those kinds of temperatures. What happens after Atacama and Gobi? The next part of the race is in the famous Sahara Desert in Egypt. This is the hottest and biggest desert on Earth, And one of the main problems for runners is the sand. It's everywhere. Strong winds can blow the sand into sandstorms, and it can be difficult to breathe. Fortunately, the competitors in the race only have to run across a very small part of it. But I don't think it will feel small to them. And now to the final deserts that the runners have to cope with. It might be a bit of a surprise. It's Antarctica. That's Antarctica. Many deserts are hot and sandy, but this one is covered in snow and ice. It's the coldest and windiest place on the planet. Imagine running in that place for a week. Competitors have to complete 2 of the other desert races before they can try this final challenge. The conditions might be very difficult, but they have the chance to see some amazing wildlife in Antarctica. They'll see penguins, seals, and whales, and the penguins might even join them on the race. The difference between this desert race and the others is that athletes sleep on a ship that travels with them, and they have food provided. They need plenty of healthy food, as during the day the competitors are running in very extreme conditions. Well, these deserts are all very hard environments, but I'm sure competitors in the 4 deserts race have an amazing experience.
All right, that's it. Even though it's a bit long, but I think the answers are quite clear, right? You're going to listen to this one more time. Did you get the answers from 1 until 8? Okay. You can check your answers and check your spelling. I heard that one of the answers here are being spelled like the Antarctica. So make sure you get the spelling correct, okay?
Listening, Unit 7, page 88, D.
You will hear some information about a race in extreme parts of the world. For each question, fill in the missing information in the numbered space. Hello, this is Lizzie Banks reporting for Sports Life. Today I'm standing in the Atacama Desert in Chile, South America. That's 8.
All right, so it mentioned there, Atacama Desert. That's the beginning. The spelling is A-T-A-C-A-M-A. A-T-A-C-A-M-A.
A-C-A-M-A. It's not the sort of place most people want to come to, but one of the most challenging races in the world starts right here. It's called the 4 Deserts Race. Competitors in this incredible race have to run through 4 deserts in 4 different continents. That's quite a challenge, isn't it? Let's take a look at some of the difficulties the runners could have. Now, each part of the race is 250 kilometers long and takes.
So, what's the answer for number 2? Each part of the race
250.
250 kilometers long. Very good. All right. Okay. Get ready for number 3.
7 days. Runners have tents and medical care, but they have to carry all their own clothes and food. Here in the Atacama Desert, the landscape is quite similar to the planet Mars, and the temperature is around 32 degrees Celsius. It's the driest place on Earth, so obviously it's not an easy place to run. Now, in the next part of the race, which is in June, competitors go to the Gobi Desert in China. Remember I said that runners have to carry their own clothes? This becomes difficult in this desert because it can be boiling hot during the day, but below freezing at night. And there can be very strong winds and sometimes snow in the mountains.
Very strong
Wind.
winds, W-I-N-D-S. Very strong winds and snow in the mountains.
You need lots of different kinds of clothes in those kinds of temperatures. What happens after Atacama and Gobi? The next part of the race is in the famous Sahara Desert in Egypt. This is the hottest and biggest desert on Earth, and one of the main problems for runners is the sand. It's everywhere. Strong winds can blow the sand into sandstorms, and it can be difficult to breathe.
So it can be difficult to, when you have sandstorms, you find it difficult to breathe, not breath, breathe, B-R-E-A-T-H-E. Okay, that's the verb for breath. Breath is nafas, but breathe is bernafas, B-R-E-A-T-H-E. All right, next.
Definitely, the competitors in the race only have to run across a very small part of it, but I don't think it will feel small to them. And now to the final deserts that the runners have to cope with. It might be a bit of a surprise. It's Antarctica. That's A-N-T-A-R-C-T-I-C-A.
Okay, so Antarctica desert, you got the spelling just now. A-N-T-A-R-C-T-I-C-A.
Deserts are hot and sandy, but this one is covered in snow and ice. It's the coldest and windiest place on the planet. Imagine running in that place for a week. Competitors have to complete 2 of the other desert races before they can try this final challenge. The conditions might be very difficult, but they have the chance to see some amazing wildlife in Antarctica. They'll see penguins, seals, and whales, and the penguin.
Okay, penguins, seals, and
Whales.
whales with S, W-H-A-L-E-S. Pause. All right.
Might even join them on the race. The difference between this desert race and the others is that athletes sleep on a ship that travels with them, and they...
So they sleep on a,
I heard sheep.
yes, S-H-I-P, kapal. On a ship that travel with them. Okay, di atas kapal. On the ship.
have food provided. They need plenty of healthy food, as during the day the competitors are running in very extreme conditions.
So they are running in very extreme conditions. That's all. That's the answers. I think that the recording is quite clear, right? Even though it's a bit long, but it's quite clear. Not as difficult as the others that the ones that we had done like before. Right, this one is quite okay. All right, I think that's all for today. So after this, for listening, you just have to do the exam task only. Okay, just do the exam task. So let me repeat. For surviving in Andes, you do exam task, question and answer only. Question and correct answer only. And then D. And then vocabulary, you do A. C and D is your homework. You must find the answers. Okay. And last one for listening. Listening, just copy the exam task with the answers that we have listened just now. That's all. I know Jacqueline will help me with the list after this. Did you get it, Jacqueline?
I actually got it already.
All right.
It was done a long time ago.
Okay, then I'll copy paste hers to the other groups. All right, any questions?
Nope.
Others? Any questions about what we have learned today? Is everything okay? Clear?
Clear.
All right. Okay, clear. Very good. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure you do your homework. I'll see you. Tomorrow is public holiday. So I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you after the school holiday. Next week is a school holiday. Next week is a 2 week school holiday. So I'll be seeing you in another 2 weeks, I think. Yay, school holiday. All right.
Yay.
Tomorrow
Cool,
is
holiday.
Wednesday, So no class tomorrow. Don't wait for me.
Extra sleep.
Alright, I'll see you next time. Right? Bye-bye.
Teacher, link attendance.
Bala, you can try again. Please try the link again. For those who just joined in and want to leave the attendance, please do so now before you leave. The others you can leave now. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye, teacher.
Thank you for being there. Alright, thank you very much, Shalin. Bye, Saifat. Bye. Alright, make sure before you leave the meeting, you have fill in the attendance, okay? Why Saifat is so popular? Why? Why? Why, Gabriel? Why he's so popular?
Thank you, teacher.
Alright, thank you, Bala. Bala,
I
you
miss
try
you,
again.
teacher.
Bala, you try again.
Okay, teacher. I miss you, teacher.
Okay, I miss you all too. Alright. Okay, bye-bye everyone. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. Oh, I forgot to end the meeting.